A massive leak recently just came out talking about who the main villain is going to be in the Marvel Cinematic Universe version of Secret Wars. It says that the Beyonder, who's a character that was the main villain of Secret Wars 1 and Secret Wars 2, will be the villain of the MCU Secret Wars. But there's a catch, as the Beyonder in the MCU is going to be a Kang the Conqueror variant and is going to be played by Jonathan Majors. So Kang the Conqueror is going to become the cosmic entity reality warper Beyonder. If you're anything like me, that's a bit confusing. You're like, how could that possibly work? Well, I've dug into the nerdy literature, and using the powers of speculation and super sweaty nerdy comic book references, I have come up with 3 different ways in which Kang the Conqueror could become the Beyonder. But really quickly, I just want to talk about why I actually don't like Kang the Conqueror becoming the Beyonder. And don't worry, I'm not going to linger on this for too long, and I'm not so upset that I'm furious about MCU Secret Wars, but I do just want to touch on it. Now, the main reason as to why I don't like Kang the Conqueror becoming the Beyonder is that both characters are very different, and they're especially different in what motivates them. Kang the Conqueror just wants to conquer other parts of space-time, wants to conquer the multiverse, in the MCU. And although there are different variants of Kang that have different motivations, like Immortus, who just wants to preserve the end of time, or young Nathaniel Richards, who wants to go through the time stream and prevent himself from becoming Kang the Conqueror, for the most part, when Kang the Conqueror is presented as the villain of a story, he is going throughout time, trying to conquer, trying to change reality to his whim, but mostly just take things over. The Beyonder, however, is completely different. He's this infantile character who, in the original Secret Wars, just wants to know what is stronger between good and evil. Later on down the line, the Beyonder just wants to learn more about what makes humans human. What is the deal with these superheroes? What is the deal with people? And so even though the Beyonder is this insanely powerful force, he's not evil. He's just infantile, and therefore the motivations and the things that he does are not wicked. They are just weird and crazy and grand on a cosmic scale. So I can't really see the Kang the Conqueror Beyonder being confused about good versus evil, or wanting to do something for his own entertainment. And if the character has the motivations of Kang the Conqueror and somehow gets the power of the freaking Beyonder, well, it's pretty much game over. I don't see how anything in the Marvel Universe could actually stop the Kang the Conqueror version of the Beyonder. But how on earth could Kang the Conqueror even get the power of the Beyonder, you ask? Well, let's now get into the 3 different ways that I think this could actually work. So the first way that Kang could become the Beyonder is if he stole the powers from the Beyonder, or maybe even the Beyonders. In the very first Secret War, Dr. Doom actually does steal the powers of the Beyonder and begins to become the main villain themselves. And so it's not out of the realm of possibility for a mortal being that usually just uses technology to actually steal the reality-shaping powers of the Beyonder. Perhaps the Kang variant that becomes the Beyonder survives the very first multiversal war, which maybe is a lot more like the first Secret Wars comic book, where there maybe was a character known as the Beyonder that grabbed up all these heroes and villains and made them fight on Battleworld. And perhaps the character of Kang, instead of Dr. Doom, steals the power of the Beyonder and then just creates the multiverse in their own image. It's also possible that the Kang variant that becomes the Beyonder survives the first multiversal war and ends up in maybe the quantum realm or limbo or some other place, but using the knowledge acquired from the very first multiversal war, is able to track down the Beyonder or the source of their power, and he's able to siphon it and use it for himself. Or maybe he's just a variant of Kang that after multiverse and multiverse of conquering, he eventually discovers this great secret or a Beyonder or a way to find their power, and then he takes that power using the technology that he has. So in this first scenario here, Kang that becomes the Beyonder would would somehow, some way come into contact with the Beyonder or the Beyonder's power and steals it. Using technology and just his own mind, he figures out a way to just take that power. Now, the second way that Kang could become the Beyonder is if he was gifted the powers of the Beyonder. Perhaps this is just a variant of Kang that conquers the entire multiverse and sets their sights on the Beyondverse, and then comes into contact with the Beyonders and is given all of this power and given a mandate. Like, maybe this variant of Kang is some kind of watchdog for the entire multiverse and essentially doing the work of the Beyonders. Or maybe he's given an ultimatum in which if he can create a new multiverse that pleases the actual Beyonders, then maybe the Beyonders won't destroy everything, including him. So in this scenario, this variant of Kang would essentially be a tool being used by the Beyonders, which would be kind of an interesting twist because it's hard to imagine Kang being subservient to another force or power. But if it is literally just the only way that Kang feels as though he can keep himself and the idea of mortal beings alive, I could actually see him perhaps doing that. This would give sort of an anti-hero type of quality to this variant of Kang, and it might even put the characters in Secret Wars in a weird position where if they defeat this variant of Kang, they're leaving themselves open to face the wrath of beings even more powerful than the Beyonder Kang. But the third way that Kang could become the Beyonder is actually my favorite, and it's sort of a version of way number one, but in this scenario, Kang would actually recreate the powers of the Beyond. The Beyonder is kind of like a cosmic cube that becomes sentient in Marvel Comics. The cosmic cubes are basic wishing boxes that are created with the powers of the Beyonders from the Beyondverse, and they allow people that have them be able to warp reality in any way they want. However, in Marvel Comics, there are different races and groups of characters that have actually recreated cosmic cubes. So the Skrull actually create their own cosmic cubes, sort of pulling on the understanding they have of the cosmic cubes and of reality and of the energy from the Beyondverse. They create a cosmic cube that then becomes sentient. Advanced Idea Mechanics, AIM themselves, they actually recreate a cosmic cube as well, and this thing becomes sentient also. And so it's not unheard of in Marvel Comics for really advanced species or people that are really good with technology to literally recreate a cosmic cube. And so maybe Kang the Conqueror that becomes the Beyonder is just a variant of Kang that pushes his technological prowess to the absolute limit, where he creates something that is very similar to the power of the Beyonders, but it was completely made and created on his own. And considering the fact that we think the Celestials, the Eternals, magic, and science are all connected to some greater concept that will tie reality together for the Marvel multiverse, it is possible that a person like Kang would actually figure that out and figure out how to replicate this idea, giving him reality warping powers, but due to his own technology. Like, think of it like him literally just tapping into celestial type technology, because remember, the Celestials create an Eternal in Cersei that can literally do magic, change reality. Now, this doesn't necessarily change the problem of the motivations for the Kang variant that becomes the Beyonder, but at least there are some ideas on how this could actually work, and the character could remain Kang and just utilize the powers of the Beyonder. But one thing is for sure, however they get there, I imagine that this version of Kang is going to be insanely, unbelievably strong, way crazier than the power of Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, and something that is going to require some crazy writing and some super powerful characters to be able to overcome. Like, one of the things that's kind of shocking about Kang being the Beyonder is I am really struggling with how the Marvel heroes are going to be able to stop him unless they upgrade their power set and tap into some reality warping power themselves, a la maybe the Scarlet Witch or a Franklin Richards character. And so maybe over the next couple of months, we'll begin to hear some leaks about the crazy powers and abilities that are going to be utilized by the heroes, because I just don't see even a multiversal group of heroes being able to stand a singular chance against a character with the motivations of Kang and the powers of the Beyonder. But maybe we'll save that for a different video. Of course, let me know what you think about the 3 different ways that we think Kang could actually become the Beyonder, your thoughts on his motivation, and just anything and everything when it comes to Secret Wars. Smash like on this video if you liked it. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and our live streaming channel, because we give away dope, nerdy things to lucky subscribers each and every month. And if you want to watch more, why not check out this video I recently made about leaks to the Ahsoka show that have me incredibly hyped up. I think this is the coolest thing Star Wars has ever done.